Good morning. Oh, I think it's still morning. What a week it has been. Oh my gosh. For those of us who are in Queensland, I think most of us are impatiently waiting to find out whether we are going to continue on in lockdown or not. And for me, this week has been one of the most mentally challenging weeks of the year. And even though I know that we're in Imbolc, and even though I know we've got the Kali energy going on, and that there's a re-emerging happening, and that can be challenging and difficult and uncomfortable, and even though I know that we have the new moon in Leo tomorrow, and the culmination of energy of this Lionsgate portal that's been open for the last couple of weeks, I still went down this week and I had some really crunchy days, but you know, I kind of pulled my resources and I connected back in, and today I feel much lighter and brighter. And so I'm here to share with you the Kali Imbolc energy, and just to invite you to take a moment to just stop and pause and breathe and take a step away from everything that's going on, and just drop back in to the seasonal wheel of the year and this medicine wheel of the year, and the actual energy currents that are going on and that we need to align with. So every day for most of us is full of a lot of processing at the moment, and we're being bombarded with threats of isolation or actual isolation and fear tactics. And no matter where we fall on the spectrum of what's going on in this day, in this moment, wherever we are in the world, there is a lot of information coming through, and can be incredibly hard to stay balanced and focused and hopeful. And that's what I really was challenged with this week, was staying hopeful. And I'm glad to say that I am back into a feeling of hopefulness. So let's drop into this Kali energy. And Kali, the goddess Kali, for those of you who already have an experience of her or a knowledge of her, the easiest way for me to explain her is she's about action and ruthless discernment. And when we see Kali, she usually has many arms, and in those arms or in her hand, she's holding a sword and a severed head, because she cuts things away, she burns things away, she dies to old ways of being, and she does that in quite a ruthless way. And one of the easiest analogies that I like to use when I'm talking about Kali is like weeding the garden. So when you decide that it's time to weed the garden, you take a moment to reflect and have a look at all of the plants that are in front of you, and you decide which ones need to stay and which ones need to go. And when you have made a decision about which ones you call a weed, you pull those little suckers out by the roots. And that's what the ruthless discernment is. I was also feeling into it today and thinking that a gentler way to approach this Kali energy, and I could do with more gentleness at the moment, is if we think about a butterfly, because this is what we're doing. Kali is about rebirth. And when we're looking at our rites of passage wheel of caterpillar in preparation, gooey mess in the cocoon for the initiation, and then the butterfly for integration, Kali is right on the boundary there of that gooey cocoon and the butterfly. So it is represented by that butterfly breaking through the last vestiges, the last container of that cocoon. And we don't just expect the butterfly to break free and fly off. We understand that there's some movement, and then there's a stopping and a pausing and a breathing and an evaluation, and then there's more movement again. And that happens as the butterfly is breaking free of the cocoon, but it also happens once it's broken free. It might crawl out onto a branch and wait for its wings to dry. And that's where we are right now. We are vulnerable and still a little gooey, probably, but we're also strong and powerful and newly emerged. as new beings. And that is Kali energy, being able to really harness that experience of vulnerability and action and gentleness and pausing and evaluating and being discerning. We need to know what we want to move closer towards. We need to know what we want to move further away from. And that can change in any moment and any day. And that's what discernment is. We don't just go and weed the garden and pull up every single plant that's in that garden. That's not discernment. That's ruthless, but it's not discernment. And we need to marry those two together. And especially in this current climate that we have, I feel like this is such beautiful feminine archetype energy and embodiment to be working with, especially for me for this last week. So if you can take that time to see where we are in this medicine wheel of the year, and when I'm talking about the season and medicine wheel of the year, it is here in the Southern Hemisphere, so in Australia, New Zealand, and the other places that are below the equator. This is what we're working with, because Imbolc, or this Kali energy, is the halfway point between the Winter Solstice and Spring Equinox. So it's a time for re-emerging. It's time for those buds or those new shoots of really thinking about breaking through the earth, and some, of course, already are. And that is the butterfly emerging from the cocoon, and that is where we are. So I also just wanted to add, because it has been a really big week for me, that I did take time to step away and come back to the big picture. I did take time to drop in and listen to some really beautiful and powerful podcasts and videos and realign myself with hope. And during that time, I also put a call out for friends to come together on a messenger group and just support each other to be feeling more harmony and health and hope and happiness in our daily lives. We've got plenty of places where we're learning all of the things and seeing fear stuff as well as beauty stuff, but just to pull together this community of incredibly beautiful, powerful, gorgeous, like-minded people, predominantly women, and to feel that connection. That's something, in my Kali energy right now that I've chosen, that I needed to move towards. It's something that's nourishing me, so it's something I'm saying yes to. We need to be really mindful of what we're saying yes to and what we're saying no to. It isn't really a time of ambivalence or indecision or not being sure. As the new butterfly, we have to choose a new path forward, and we can take time to do that. But like I said, there's pausing, there's taking a breath, there's reevaluating, there's feeling a sense of relief, and then there's a re-engagement that needs to be happening. So action doesn't have to be full steam ahead, like just going at it hammer and tongs. We do take the time to stop, to breathe, to reevaluate. We do decide the communities and the information that we want to be connecting in with, that we want to be dropping in with. And I feel very blessed and very grateful that I have been able to align with so many other beautiful people who are coming back to compassion and connection, and who want to be beacons of hope as well. To me, that's the way forward, and being able to create those parallel structures in this current climate and in this environment that we're living in right now with everything that's going on, being able to anchor in and choose those parallel structures that work for you, that nourish you, that help you gain relief from fear and come back to a place of harmony and happiness. That's what it's all about. So pause, breathe, reevaluate, feel the relief, and then re-engage, remembering that you are the vulnerable yet beautiful butterfly that has newly emerged from the cocoon, embodying that Kali energy of ruthless discernment, pausing action. And if you do want to go deeper, if you want to have more information about the seasonal medicine wheel of the year and all of the feminine archetypes that represent the different points as we move through then come and join me on the She Temple group. We have so many awesome women there, some beautiful teachings, and we also have set up a new hashtag of high vibe connection for those of you, when we're having those down days, which, can happen quite a lot at the moment. When we're having those down days, come into the She Temple group. Just tell us, I'm having a down day. You don't even have to tell us why. And you can be surrounded and uplifted and held in beautiful, creative, sacred, feminine space. So thank you for joining me here today. I hope that you are maybe getting through this crunchy part of the re-emerging, possibly feeling still a little bit gooey, but knowing that you're right where you're meant to be feeling, right what you're meant to be feeling right now, and that there are so many people who align with who you are and how you want to do things too, and it's time to find that community. Sending you all lots of love. Bye.